Chapter 66. Chen Baoguo's family sat down on the sofa. Sun Fuai hurriedly poured tea and water, and he didn't forget to shout to the bedroom, "Xiaomeng, you Uncle Chen and the others are here, come out quickly." "Fu Hai, don't be so polite. We're embarrassed to disturb us all of a sudden." Chen Baoguo felt very embarrassed when he saw that Sun Fuai was so enthusiastic. "Old monitor, what's so embarrassing about this? We haven't seen each other for many years. When you come to me, just treat it as your own home. I'll book a hotel at noon, and we'll have a good drink," Sun Fu said while pouring tea for Chen Baoguo by the sea. At this time, Sun Xiaomeng came out, changed into a sportswear, with a hanging tail, looking very youthful and energetic. Sun Xiaomeng glanced and set her eyes on David. She found that David was all over the street, and he looked very dirty. "Xiaomeng, don't call Uncle Chen," Sun Fuai said to Sun Xiaomeng. "Hello Uncle Chen," Sun Xiaomeng called out absent-mindedly. The whole person didn't seem to care, and there was a trace of disdain in his eyes. "You child, how?" Seeing Sun Xiaomeng's attitude, Sun Fuai was about to get angry, but was stopped by Chen Baoguo. "Okay." Chen Baoguo hurriedly stopped Sun Fuai and nodded to Sun Xiaomeng with a smile on his face. The two families sat down and chatted together, and it was obvious that Sun Xiaomeng was a little uncomfortable. "Brother Chen, I heard my old grandson say that after you retired from the army, you entered politics. After so many years, you should be all bureau-level cadres now, right?" Li Fengshe asked Chen Baoguo. When Li Fengshe asked, Chen Baoguo blushed and smiled awkwardly. "No, I've already retired." "How old are you to retire? Is it too early?" Li Fengshe said in shock. "Okay, there's so much nonsense. If you ask questions, check your household registration." Sun Fuai glared at Li Fengshe. In fact, as soon as Chen Baoguo and the others entered the door, Sun Fuai noticed that something was wrong. He opened a company and dealt with various officials all year round. Chen Baoguo doesn't have that kind of official spirit at all. It's just that he didn't point it out, because he knew that his wife was a snob. If he knew that Chen Baoguo's family were ordinary people, he would have turned his face on the spot. "I just asked casually, just curious, what are you anxious about?" Li Fengshe rolled her eyes at Sun Fuai, and then continued to face Chen Baoguo. "Brother Chen, at what level did you retire?" Seeing Li Fengshe's questioning, Chen Baoguo knew that he couldn't hide it, not to mention that he was asking for help, so he didn't need to hide anything, so he smiled awkwardly and said, "I was fired." Chen Baoguo told everything about his experiences in the past few years. At this time, Chen Baoguo didn't think about what to lose. His face was worthless to him now. When Li Fengshe finished listening, the smile on her face disappeared immediately, and she rolled her eyes. On the other hand, Sun Fuai looked shocked. "Old monitor, why didn't you inform me that you've had such a hard time all these years? It's all over, and now David has come out. I don't think I want to ask you a favor to see if I can find him a job. It's okay to be a little bit tired." Chen Baoguo asked humbly. "Re-education prisoners, which company dares to ask for it now?" Sun Fuai hadn't spoken yet, but Li Fengshe pouted. Now Li Fengshe's attitude is completely different from the beginning. Sun Fuai also frowned slightly, and his expression became a little dignified. Chen Baoguo said hurriedly, "If it's embarrassing, I'll let him go to the construction site to find a job." Chapter 67. Old Squad Leader, to tell you the truth, my company is encountering some difficulties. Now, if I can't get over it, I'm afraid that I will go bankrupt, and recruiting David will also delay him. Sun Fuai sighed and said. When Chen Baoguo heard this, he immediately said embarrassedly, "Fuai, I'm really causing you trouble. Don't worry about David's work. What happened to your company? What happened, can you solve it?" Li Fengshe sneered. Chen Baoguo blushed with embarrassment. "Shut up." Sun Fuai gave Li Fengshe a stern look, and then said apologetically, "Old Squad Leader, don't pay attention to these women. My company has some business dealings with Fuyao Decoration, and the result is the payment for the goods. They have detained them and won't give it, and now the capital chain is broken. I'm afraid it won't last long. But about David's work, I asked Xiaomeng to go to their company to ask. Their company is a group company, and the benefits are good. Let David go first and slowly start from the bottom. Dad, I'm just a salesman, how can I have any skills? Don't make trouble for me." As soon as Sun Fuai's voice fell, Sun Xiaomeng said unhappily. You don't have the skills. Isn't that Kui Ziyuan a sales manager? Can't he recruit an employee even as a manager? Sun Fuai asked. Okay, that's it, if that Kui Ziyuan doesn't even have the ability, I don't think you two are suitable. Without waiting for Sun Xiaomeng to speak, Sun Fuai directly threatened Sun Xiaomeng. When Sun Xiaomeng heard this, she stopped talking and could only pout angrily. Old Sun, Xiaomeng lost a lot of energy when she entered that company, aren't you causing trouble for your child? Besides, it's a large group company, can prisoners of labor reform enter? Li Fengxia glanced at David, and then very much it was dissatisfied and said to Sun Fuai. David was very uncomfortable listening to Li Fengxia one prisoner of labor reform, but Sun Fuai was a good person, and David couldn't get angry. Dad, I'm putting the ugly word up front. I'm only responsible for bringing it in. It's up to me if I can get an interview or not. Sun Xiaomeng rolled her eyes, got up and left, and went back to the bedroom. Old squad leader, this girl has such a temperament, don't take offense. Sun Fuai explained to Chen Baoguo a little embarrassedly. Chen Baoguo gave a wry smile, he has reached this point, what else can he blame? Fuai, I'm sorry to bother you, I still have something to do, so I won't bother. Chen Baoguo knew that there was no point in staying any longer, and he couldn't cause conflicts in other people's families. Old monitor, I have already booked the hotel, let's have a meal together. Sun Fuai said hurriedly. No, you have time. Chen Baoguo waved his hand. David also helped Barbara to stand up. Sun Fuai also knew that the attitude of his wife and daughter was indeed uncomfortable, but he had no choice but to smile apologetically. When I have time, I will have a drink with the old monitor alone. Sun Fuai sent Chen Baoguo's family out, but Li Fengxia had been sitting on the sofa without moving. Uncle Sun, what's the name of the company that owes you money? After walking out of the door, David asked Sun Fuai. It's called Fuyao Decoration, does the eldest nephew know anyone there? Sun Fuai asked suspiciously. David shook his head. No, but I'll try and ask for the account for Uncle Sun. Eldest nephew, Uncle Sun has taken your heart. You finally got out of it. We can't do anything illegal. Be filial to your parents, and don't worry about my affairs. Sun Fuai thought that David was going to violently ask for the account. After all, David just got out of prison, maybe he knew some gangsters and the like. Chapter 68. David smiled. Uncle Sun, don't worry, I won't be doing stupid things. Sun Fuai smiled and patted David's shoulder. If you have this heart, Uncle will be happy. Leaving Sun Fuai's house, Chen Baoguo sighed slightly. David, your Uncle Sun is a good man. If you find a job tomorrow, work hard and don't let people look down on you. It can be seen that Chen Baoguo was very angry with Sun Fuai's wife and daughter, but there is no way to do it. Whoever makes himself incompetent, has to ask others. Well, I see, David nodded. What about Hanhan's child? In this situation today, I don't dare to ask for it. Barbara said a little depressed. Originally agreed to help Wang Hanhan find a job together, but now I didn't mention it to Wang Hanhan. When Chen Baoguo heard this, he lit a cigarette and lowered his head without saying a word. He didn't know how to follow Wang Changfeng. Mom, Dad, don't worry about it, I'll find a way for Hanhan's work. If I can enter the company, I can bring her in. Seeing this, David comforted his parents. That's the only way. Chen Baoguo nodded. He stopped a taxi and headed home. David sat in the car and sent a message to Lin Tianyu, telling him about Sun Fuai and asking Lin Tianyu to go to Fuyao Decoration to get the money back. After explaining, David put away his phone, closed his eyes slightly and rested. Soon, David and the others returned to the gate of the community. At this time, Wang Hanhan was walking back and forth at the gate, as if there was something urgent. Hanhan, what are you doing here? Seeing Wang Hanhan at the door, David asked strangely. Brother David, Wang Hanhan was about to say something when he saw that Chen Baoguo and Barbara also got out of the car, so he closed his mouth. When Chen Baoguo saw Wang Hanhan at the door, he thought he was waiting for them to ask about work, so he blushed and said to David, David, talk to Hanhan, I'll go home with your mother first. Chen Baoguo didn't know how to explain it to Wang Hanhan. After all, as an elder, he promised himself yesterday, but he did nothing today. When Chen Baoguo and Barbara left, David asked Wang Hanhan, "Hanhan, is something wrong?" "Brother David, I'm afraid, those loan sharks will come to me, I'm afraid my mother will find out." With tears in her eyes, Wang Hanhan said anxiously to David. "Don't be afraid, Hanhan, I'm here, they're here, I'll handle it for you." David patted Wang Hanhan gently and said comfortingly, "Brother David, don't fight, I don't want you to be caught for me." Wang Hanhan can only rely on David now, but she doesn't want David to fight over her business. "Don't worry, I won't fight." David smiled slightly. Just when David was talking to Wang Hanhan, suddenly an off-road vehicle stopped in front of them, and got out of the car 4 big and 3 thick men. One of them was wearing a big gold chain, with a short head and a fierce look on his face. When Wang Hanhan saw these people, he was so frightened that he immediately hid behind David. "Little girl, how is the money prepared? If you don't pay back the money today, I will move the things from your house." The guy with the gold chain asked Wang Hanhan. I don't have any money, can I have a grace period for a few days?" Wang Hanhan asked timidly. "No, not even for a day. If you don't have anything valuable at home, then you can come with me. Seeing that you are very handsome, you can still be worth a lot of money." After the guy with the golden chain finished speaking, he grabbed Wang Hanhan directly, ignoring the existence of David. Chapter 69. But just as the guy stretched out his hand, David grabbed it. "I'll give you the money she owes you, don't do it," David said lightly to the guy with the golden chain. "You give it." The guy looked at David up and down, saw David dressed in ordinary clothes, and his body was no more than 200, and sneered, "Do you know how much she owes us?" 1 million, David said. "HMPH, 1 million is not enough," the guy with the golden chain snorted coldly. "How can it not be enough? You told me last week that as long as I pay back 1 million. Upon hearing this, Wang Hanhan hurriedly asked loudly. "Last week was last week. Don't I need interest on my money? Now it's 1.3 million, not a penny less." The guy with the gold chain raised the corner of his mouth slightly and said contemptuously. When Wang Hanhan heard it, the whole person was stunned. This week, the price has risen by 300,000. Even if he is a money printing machine, he is afraid that he will not be able to repay the loan shark. "Okay, 1.3 million, I'll give you," David said lightly. Seeing David's answer so happily, the guy was stunned for a moment, and even Wang Hanhan's eyes were wide open, looking at David in disbelief. "Brother David, where do you have so much money?" Wang Hanhan knew that David couldn't have so much money. He just got out of prison a few days ago and he didn't have a job. How could he have more than 1 million? The guy with the golden chain heard what Wang Hanhan said, and immediately looked at David fiercely and said, "Boy, are you sure you have money? If you dare to play with me, you should know the consequences, right?" With that said, the guy took out a dagger and gently scratched his chin. Seeing the other party take out the dagger, Wang Hanhan's face turned even paler with fright, and he hid behind David tightly. "I told you to give it to you, and I will give it to you. Just go to the bank with me to withdraw money." David's face was calm, without the slightest panic. The guy with the golden chain saw that David was so calm, and couldn't help but flash a hint of admiration in his eyes and said, "Okay, seeing as you are also a guy, I will believe you and go to the bank with you." After the guy with the gold chain finished speaking, he stepped aside to move out of the way. After a glance, a younger brother immediately opened the car door. "Let's go, get in the car," the guy with the gold chain shook his head. "Hanhan, go home, don't tell your mother and my parents, I'll be back in a while." David turned around and said softly to Wang Hanhan. "Brother David." Wang Hanhan took David's arm with worry in his eyes. "Don't worry, I'll be fine." David smiled slightly, then turned and walked towards the car. Looking at the car leaving, Wang Hanhan burst into tears. She didn't know what would happen after David was taken away. Soon, the car took David to the door of a bank. "Remember, don't play tricks on me, we'll be waiting for you outside," the guy with the golden chain threatened David. David ignored him and walked straight into the bank. At this time, many people in the bank lobby were doing business, and David could only wait in line at the back. "Sir, if you want to withdraw money, you can go to the ATM so you don't have to queue," a staff member of the bank said very politely to David. I withdraw a lot of money, and the ATM can't get it out. David smiled politely. Sir, how much do you withdraw? The staff asked. More than $1 million. As soon as David's voice fell, many people in the queue in front of him instantly turned to look at him. After all, more than 1 million is not a small number. Chapter 70. David. At this time, in the front team, a fashionably dressed, a bit coquettishly dressed woman shouted at David. The woman also wore a big sunglasses, covering half of her face. Who are you? David frowned slightly and looked at the woman. It's me, Lee Dongmai. The woman took off her sunglasses. David suddenly realized, it turned out to be you, I don't even recognize it. Lee Dongmai was a classmate of David in middle school, and the two of them were still at the same table. Back then, Lee Dongmai was sloppy, but not as fashionable as it is now. Lee Dongmai glanced at David, and then said with a bit of sneer in her eyes, I heard that you are in prison. When did you come out? In this kind of public place, the matter of going to jail is even mentioned directly, obviously to make David embarrassed. When the two of them were at the same table, this Lee Dongmai also wrote a love letter to David. After all, David's father was in politics at that time, and his family was not bad. Many girls liked David. It's just that David didn't pay much attention to Lee Dongmai at all, because Lee Dongmai at that time was not outstanding at all. Just a few days after I came out. David smiled lightly and answered truthfully. As soon as I came out, I came to withdraw more than 1 million. It's really rich. Lee Dongmai sneered. David just smiled and didn't answer. Instead, he asked, when did you come to Horrendal? I heard that you won't go to school after graduating from junior high school. Yes, I didn't go to school after graduating from junior high school, but now I'm much better than your college graduate, Lee Dongmai said, pointing to a fat middle-aged man sitting on a chair beside him. The person said, that's my boyfriend, the owner of a company with tens of millions of assets. I'm going to apply for a card today, and the money will be under my control in the future. Lee Dongmai looked smug, although the middle-aged man looked older than her father, but she herself didn't feel anything wrong, as long as the other party had money. David looked at the fat middle-aged man, and just smiled slightly. Congratulations, I found a rich boyfriend. Although David only smiled slightly, Lee Dongmai felt a wave of disgust in her heart. She felt that David was laughing at herself. Sir, if you withdraw more than 500,000, you need to make an appointment in advance. Have you made an appointment? After the bank staff knew that David was a reform-through labor prisoner who had just been released, his tone became a little tougher. I have an urgent need, so I don't have an appointment. Can you accommodate me? David asked the bank staff. David, what are you doing in such a hurry with more than 1 million? You don't look like you have 1 million. You won't come over to pretend, right? Lee Dongmai sneered. David ignored her, but took out his card and handed it to the staff of the bank. I have 10 million in this card, and now I only want to withdraw 1.3 million. Can you accommodate me? 10 million. What are you kidding me? Do you have 10 million? You are just a prisoner who just got out of prison. How could you have so much money? Lee Dongmai sneered, looking at David with disdain. And the staff of the bank was also a little impatient, and said with a cold face, even if you have 20 million, this is the bank's rules, you can't. But before the words were finished, the staff of the bank suddenly saw the card in David's hand. Because the bank card was given to David by Ruben, and Ruben is the richest man in Horrendal, his card has obvious special signs. The bank staff can see it at a glance. This is the bank card of the Su family, and if David could hold the Su family bank card, he would definitely not be an ordinary person. Chapter 71. Sir, sit here for a while, I'll go and ask the manager right away. Seeing the card in David's hand, the attitude of the staff suddenly changed 180 degrees. Okay. David nodded and sat aside to rest, and the staff member hurriedly went to ask the manager for instructions. This time, Lee Dongmai was a little confused. She didn't understand why the staff of this bank was suddenly so polite to David. David, do you really have 10 million? Seeing that the staff member suddenly changed his attitude, Lee Dongmai asked David with some doubts. What's your business? David smiled coldly. David, let me tell you, it is illegal to forge financial documents. You are a prisoner of labor reform. How can you have 10 million? Don't think I don't know. Your family is still living in the old community, and your dad is now sweeping the streets for people. How could you have 10 million? Li Dongmai would never believe that David really had 10 million. If he really had the money, would he still live in such a broken community? And David just got out of jail, and it's impossible to earn 10 million in a few days. She felt that David must have deliberately pretended to be coercive in front of her because of her own reasons, that's why she said this. When other customers in the bank heard what Li Dongmai said, they also looked at David curiously. These days, they all use the card to withdraw money. If there is any money in the card, they will know after a check. No one is really stupid enough to counterfeit the bank card it. After a while, the bank staff who had just left came over with a middle-aged man, who was wearing glasses and was in a hurry. "Hello sir, I'm the manager of this bank. How can I help you?" The middle-aged man walked in front of David and asked politely. "I want to withdraw 1.3 million, but I don't have an appointment. Can I withdraw it?" David said and handed the card to the bank manager. After seeing the bank card, the bank manager's expression changed slightly. "Yes, sir, you don't need to make an appointment, but we don't have that much cash now. I'll send someone to deliver the cash from other places immediately. Sir, come to my office to rest first. Come down." David nodded and got up to go to the office to wait. Seeing this, Li Dongmai was dumbfounded. She stopped the bank manager and said, "What's going on with your bank? Why can you withdraw money without an appointment? He's just a prisoner of labor reform. You don't even check if he has any money in his card. Do you agree? If so, I will also take 1 million now." The bank manager didn't even look at it, and said lightly, "You can't pick it up without an appointment." This sentence can make Li Dongmai mad. This is simply a double standard scene. David's card has 10 million, and he can withdraw money directly without making an appointment. Their card also has 10 million, but they have to make an appointment. What kind of broken bank are you? I'm going to complain to you. Why can't he make an appointment, but we have to make an appointment? We also have 10 million in our card, can't you hear? Li Dongmai roared at the bank manager. This gentleman is the supreme VIP of our bank, so there is no need to make an appointment, and you are just ordinary customers, there is no comparison. The bank manager said indifferently. Li Dongmai's lungs were about to explode with anger, and her eyes suddenly stared. He is your supreme VIP. Are you mistaken? He is just a labor prisoner, just a prisoner who was just released.
Please subscribe to follow the next more exciting chapters.